We want to talk about. I tried doing an Overwatch stream just a minute ago. People said it was choppy. It looks like everything should be connected. The picture shouldn't be total dog water. And actually, kind of looking at this, is it crooked? Doesn't really look all that crooked to me. But we don't have any viewers right now because I ended the chat and then tried starting it again to avoid glitches. People are saying it's glitchy. If it's too glitchy, then we'll have to stop for the night. Unfortunate. I do have a Celsius, and I have a smoke machine, which should probably turn off right now because we don't have any viewers. Fog machine, sorry. That's metal in your lung. Yeah, as bad as this is. Do I have any Mountain Dew left? No. Well, thought someone would have been watching by now. So that answers the question. If I am my watching the stream doesn't count as one of the audience. So I see the 0 up there and the 0 thumbs up. So that's wonderful. Else should be good. I want to know if the stream's working right. I don't see any reason it shouldn't be. Everything, we're in the pipe 5x5, right? Yo, new to here. Did you name yourself new to here? Or when you join the chat, you can like name and you go, screw it, new to here. Is that what you do? And I'm holding some kind of like gimmicky brain store squishy ball thing. Sort of things, these like stress balls that are extra soft. Yeah. Yes, my name is new to here. So on YouTube, there's a channel or a profile setup called new to. Would I be disappointed if you've had a channel or a profile for 5 years and it still said that and you just didn't get around to it? By the way, I know I should rebrand because it's been 2 years since I shot a jog vlog. I actually have a movie review or two shot in that style that I haven't uploaded yet. That I think would just throw people off by now because ever since lockdown, it got tougher to go outside to do this stuff. And then after a while, I just kind of faded away from it. It does tend to throw some people off, my title name. I can see that, yeah. I'm looking at rebrand. I've tried floating some ideas over at YouTube, and it's like that taken. So, or not taken, but just not available. Like, oh, you just can't do that. And it's like, okay, cool, right? But yeah, I'm thinking of trying to get a different name going. But then I could also go away from my name and have some of like ultimate authority to trick people into thinking that I must know what I'm talking about. Like new channel name, the greatest of all time, or the chosen Vaughn or something like. I mean, there should be a few different ways to sound. Bring back the old Von Fry song. Von Fry, legendary badass, not shy, telling how it is. Von Fry will die. Do. The girl that sang that song hates me, so that would make more funny for me to play that. But that worked when I had Von Fry will die. But that chant always demonetized. It was demonetized instantly. And I think that's because I was ahead of the trend on the title. And then you end up with PewDiePie. And it's like, okay, that sounds like a similar deal. And now you got this Kill Tony podcast. And it's like, you know, my cashing in on knowing people hate me and trying to be like, oh, you just hate him so much. That's why. Way ahead of the curve. Way ahead. Way, what was that, like 2012 or 2013? No, the girl, her name's Julia, and she posted some online. She's a friend of a friend of a frenemy now, but so I'm like, it's double fallout. She posted a picture online saying working, and she was sitting at like the keyboard, and I'm like, no, this is work. And I showed like a guy in like a third world country mining. He had like a backpack full of stone and he had no shoes. And then she got pissed at me because look, we We can't call this work. Let's be real here. There's an entertainment aspect to it. It's kind of fun, but let's not call it work. Okay. Why do you hate black people? Uh, did I put that in my? Oh, that would actually be a good YouTube name there. That'd get, because then you, like, look, the rage bait. First of all, I invented rage bait. Like, no one would dare my Hollow Knight review, right? But if you go on like the looking for group feature on Xbox and you say things like, okay, hey, I'm trying to look for some cool people to play with. Oh, by the way, no women. And all the girls, why no women? And you can tell from their voice they've got 200 pounds and they have an arm. They have like a tattoo and they got the sunflower tattoo and they have a bunch of cats circling them like a seance. You can tell. I can tell so much from the way people sound on gaming on Xbox. If you sound like you're on McDonald's intercom, you're on PlayStation because the Xbox wireless protocol is a higher bandwidth than Bluetooth that they use over on PlayStation. That's why there's less compatibility. And when you do the crossplay, it's so that's a small fries and a large soft drink. And no, I said a Sprite. And it's so that's what you get when you play online. I've noticed this phenomenon lately, and I really made note of this last night. These kids, and they sound checked out and dangerous. Like there's so many kids playing online right now that sound like school shooters. So you're really top 500 rank where, and I'm not doing the voice quite right, but you can tell that the kid was playing and he was finding a reason to lose the game to prove I'm not as good as the title said. Because it's like a weird gel. Oh yeah, well if you're really that good, then if I throw the game, you should still be able to win anyway. Which I did win a game of last night. This one kid had that school shooter voice, got so pissed that he didn't get healed once, and then he starts throwing the game. 10 seconds, and you just leave so we can know the game. He's like, no, this isn't my only account. And that aggressive white kid school shooter voice. And so I just mute him, and I'm like, everybody report this sack of shit. And he didn't just go AFK. He fed. He picked Tracer, and he just walked up to the enemy to get killed. And my team was good enough to win anyway. And in winning first round attack on Nubani, I could actually share the replay in some capacity because it's on my box. One of their guys left. One of their healers left because they're like, how the hell are we getting rolled by a team that has a thrower? I'm out of here, you losers. And so, yeah, I mean, miracles can happen, but is it even worth it? It's a game that doesn't really have a storyline. That's why I don't stream. I want to do like, hey, let's do a chapter of Resident Evil. Let's play through a whole old NES game. It's about 45 minutes. That seems like a stream to me. I don't understand how any of these kids are streaming Fortnite. What's going to happen? Oh, well, you either got eliminated or you didn't. Same shit with Overwatch. Okay, we're going to play Overwatch for 5 hours. Doesn't seem all that exciting to me. I would love for that to become a boomer thing. Like, we're looking at movies, all the long form stuff. It's boomer entertainment. The movies ain't coming back because the kids watch the TikToks. We need the next group of kids to appreciate something else so that they can make fun of Grandpa and his TikToks. That's what we need. I don't honestly know from there. What does the next generation do? Get into farming and just shun entertainment altogether? Pff, you thought you were going to make us laugh and your humor, that sort of shit. I just watched the miniseries Ungentlemanly, The Ministries of Ungentlemanly. That didn't, unfortunate, it's like justify going to the theater anymore. And that's the kind of movie where I'm thinking it will end up streaming somewhere and I'll have access to it. And then I can watch. So, and I'm watching so much, sometimes even the newer things I'm just completely forgetting about. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the other week on here that I watched The Beekeeper. I don't think I ever got around to shooting a review on it. I mean, it's almost generic than John Wick. John Wick has a generic element missing from it. there's usually the cops. They know that the guy is on tour, and they don't really want to stop him, but it's their job. You're not above law, you know, that sort of thing. The Beekeeper has that. Incompetent FBI buffoon DEI hires chasing after Jason Statham. John Wick not. Ultimately, it's to the detriment of John Wick, because as the film series continues, we learn that everybody in the entire universe is an assassin. There is nobody that is not in the assassination field. There are no civilians. Everybody that looks like a civilian is actually in disguise. It's a bunch of bullshit. So, Ministries of Ungenly Warfare, that streaming, I'm watching just about anything but Max at this point, to be real with. Though they have that new bundle. I don't think there's a way to get that bundle set up with the no ads and the 4K for Max, because they extra for the 4K because, hey, Max and Netflix realize they can do it. Hulu hasn't gone down that route yet, but I can see them doing it. Hell, Disney Plus, if they haven't charged more for 4K, because it's just a matter of, oh, well, they're doing it, so we can. Industry standards. Remember industry standards? Xbox. Let's take away all that those saved clips you have that you shared with people social wide. Oh, Gmail. Let's start deleting accounts that are inactive to keep up with industry standards, because everybody else is doing it. Even though FPS is the most popular game genre, I can't stand it, but it just appeals to the primitive mind. Totally understandable. I played Call of Duty successfully for a while. I played Call of Duty 2 when it released on the Xbox 360 title, having the foresight that, hey, this looks like the stand-in for Halo for the moment. This will be the best game to pick up. And I was right. Then that was about it. I played Modern Warfare, the original, and I completed it, 1,000 gamer score within 1 day, and was one of the very first people to get the Mile High Club, which you have to run like a perfect operation post-credits, and it was super hard. And I went through it for hours, and then I was like, you know what, I think I get it, but I'm just going to take a nap, or I'm going to go to bed and wake up. And I woke up early in the morning, woke up, first try waking up. So sometimes it's just about refreshing yourself. And that was really it. I, years later, picked up GameStop, and this was played well over 10 years ago. The next one that returned to World War II times, it was like World at War, and Japan. I think it was World at War or 5, I don't remember. I played through that, but I never got into the multiplayer. I'd see the multiplayer, it just looked like a snipe fest. You're not a futurist Marine with an overshield. You don't have next generation armor. You're just going to get killed really damn quick. And it just doesn't appeal to me. At some point, you just feel like you've done all this before. In Overwatch, I've seen everything there is to see, and yet somehow I come back, and I don't even have a good explanation for why. Yeah, that's about it. How can I sell the Mr. and Mrs. Smith series to you? You probably can't. They DEI'd it, right? Like, oh, we've got to make one of them Asian, one of them a black guy. Is that what they did? But I never watched the original movie. I wasn't into it. It's kind of like one of these things where the very premise sounds like you've seen the movie already. Oh, they're these spy hitman people, and then they find out that there's two. So what are they? Grossly incompetent? They can't find out. You're the top spy hitman guy, and you can't figure out you have one living in the house with you, sleeping in the same bed. Okay. So yeah, you can't really sell that to me. Obviously, they have to team up and go after their employer or some shit, right? I keep getting asked to watch The Night Agent, and I will get to it at some point. I watched Bone Tomahawk last night. Started it when I was on my exercise bike. Took a shower when they mentioned they're talking to the Indian guy, and he's like, "Oh, they're not Indians, they're Gladites." Took a shower, got some popcorn, watched the rest of it on my OLED, and was like, "Well, that feels more like a horror film than a Western in ways." So guess I may have some words to say about that, but overall I think I liked it. I'm not sure Lily Simmons looks like she's time period correct. Looks like she is like contemporary California chick. It would almost be like, would anyone look like Kim Kardashian 100 years ago? I think that would be entirely impossible, right? Like those people had not merged together. So here's my pitch, 1 minute. The scenario is not the same at all. They both work for the same agency. So we've done a few of this before, Almost True Lies. There was a show it was very much True Lies, but it was 10 years ago. And it had a black chick who's hot, by the way, and she's got a weird name like Gumbo Bath Raw or something. And she had a black guy, and their husband, and I think had a season or two out of it, but it died. And it was playing a similar thing, and it was on NBC. So it's two people pretending to be married. So kind of like The Americans, but not a drama, while working missions. Do they hate each other? And then, because the way you got to do this is you have to start out with them hating each other. There's friction. And then by season 10, if this was the 80s and 90s, by season 10, they love each other. But shoot, are we ever going to get a show that long again? It doesn't look like it. Yeah, so they do hate each other. Just the pilot was good. Is it a weekly thing? It's not a TV show, is it? It's a streaming series, I'm guessing. And I put away my computer and looked the stuff up. But 10 episodes, oh yeah, that's the norm. Sometimes we whittle it down to 8 episodes in a season, don't we? Amazon. I've seen it come up. I didn't realize it was an Amazon Prime thing. Reminds me, I need to cancel my Prime subscription because I use my dad's stuff, and I got like a free month of Prime to help sell. Oh my! You know what? I've got like store options down here, and I don't hang. What products do you want me to tag right now? What's worth tagging here? What do I want to talk about? All sellers, sure. What am I looking? Not gonna let me search for stuff easily. Gotta search. Okay, search. We're gonna tag a product. Or not. I can't think of anything, so there we go. Yep, no tagging. Because I think I could get a referral thing if you guys want a Prime subscription. I get like a $5 or whatever, but what is this? What are we talking about? We were talking about Overwatch, but there weren't any Overwatch questions. And thumbnail was a white guy, so nobody watched. Now we're just kind of doing a general AMA, ask me whatever. We can talk about politics if you want to. We can talk about, I'm kind of just an expert on everything, I guess, so it doesn't much matter. Hello from Germany. What's your favorite Roland Emmerich movie ever? Okay, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he make Anonymous? Pretty sure he did. Reese Ifans was awesome in it. That is a movie that I feel like people they never heard of, or there is an effort to make it like what are the communists when they erase the history? Like, let's pretend it was never made. The weird thing about Roland Emmerich is almost every one of his movies he destroys the White House. Very much interjecting his own politics into things, like let's destroy the White House, Independence Day, Day After Tomorrow, whatever the hell else, right? But I'm almost certain that this movie Anonymous about William Shakespeare being a fake. And it was really damn good. And it's been buried, like lost. Came out probably about 2011, if I had to guess. Look that up. Probably not available to watch anywhere. Everything about it was great. Like I thought it was really good, really good. But oh, you can't say anything bad about here. Like that must have been like the thing. So yeah, check that out if that's one of his movies. I'm trying to think, what else did he make? Did he make Universal Soldier? I think he might have done Universal Soldier then. I could be wrong. He made this one like in his latest thing where like the moon is gonna, was it called like Moon Crash or something? We gotta watch out, the moon could crash into the earth. And it bombed so hard, it killed the genre for his brand of disaster film. And now like I've said before, the Marvel films are, they're not just Marvel, it's the all-in-one genre. Well, this is the only comedy available. You have to have the comedy in there. Well, we don't make chick flicks anymore, so the girls have to have something to watch. Like, we make one movie for everybody instead of else. So shit. How's this previously? You said Sex and is a no good. A no good. I kind of like the way you phrased that. I don't think you meant for it to come out like that. It's a no good. But include nudity in film because I consider them to almost be a package deal. I'm not saying sex is required. I don't fully understand the question, but to relate this, in Bone Tomahawk, the ever naked Lily Simmons is covered in this movie, despite grinding on the guy that played the Owl Man in Watchmen. And then they get crafty with like, oh, we got to have our arm over this way, so we block stuff. And she also had coverage, so it seemed strange. So why not just have the scene more implied than playing peekaboo, right? Seems weird to do it that way, but there's a lot of stuff that happens in real life you don't need in film. In 24, people are like, when does Jack Bauer ever go to the bathroom? Oh, well, he does it during the commercial breaks. Okay, well, he must not be hitting number 2 because see the commercial break, and we never even see him walk into the loo, as the Brits say. There's a lot of stuff that we don't need to be bringing up in movies, and thankfully we still don't in a lot of ways. Like, look, if you didn't know how a toilet works, movies is not going to teach you. No one uses the toilet correctly in a movie at all, to my knowledge. You never see the toilet paper used as it should be used in a film. Am I wrong? So, I mean, do you disagree with any nudity in film? I don't like seeing it, but if you're gonna do some, also have the naked guys in so that it doesn't feel like, oh, well, we're just playing to the straight male hetero guys. Make it more of a, okay, well, if that's happening to the chick, then the same thing happens to the guy. Like, try to level it out. Personally, I would not work on such a project, but I kind of feel like it's not less disgusting, but it feels a little more even if played that way. So, I think American Pie. Haven't actually seen it. Starship Troopers kind of does that, but I mean, I don't think that you saw any of the guys' junk below, right? But they do the butt shots for the guys. That's a Paul Verhoeven thing. He even has you see the birth of the co-ed locker room in RoboCop. You wouldn't know if you watch the TV edit. That's like just they take a little bit out. But yeah, he's all about the co-ed room. And so it's like, let's go wild with that in Starship Troopers. So yeah, that's a thing that happens. I started watching one of his early movies, Turkish Delight, and I kind of just got kind of bored at half middle. That was about a month or two ago, so I could get back to watching. I found it on like archive.org, Internet Archive. I mean, I would pay or to a lot of this stuff legit, but if you don't put it on a damn service, what do you expect me to do, right? So Starship, that reminds me, actually, I'm going to say something and then I'm going to clip it, and I'm probably repeating myself, but I'm doing this to remind myself to make a short on it later, okay? Which you can like when I post. The Library, okay, let's try that again. The Library of Congress is always trying to select films for preservation. Oh, it's historically important. Okay, well then it should be available to everybody in America for free. Restoration process. It's in the Library of Congress. How come these movies are accepted and then hold away and no one gets to watch them? Okay, you got Terminator 2 and House Party in there recently. That doesn't mean they're available for everybody to watch. Get all these movies going in 4K and make them available. Why doesn't the U.S. Library of Congress have a streaming platform? I mean, you'd have a pretty good library to start with. Yeah, I'll refine that state and make it into a more digestible reel that I'll post that'll get about 10,000 views and then be disappeared to time, and no one will ever make a move to put any kind of legislation. What are your favorite video games? That is so tricky. I made a list years back, and I had like Resident Evil 2 on there and Metal Gear Solid 3. And you read those games is rough. From a gameplay perspective, it's really the side-scrolling platforms with the pixel art that hold up to time the best. When it comes to a first-person shooter, I don't think any first-person shooter made the leaps that Halo AE did while also retaining its accessibility. Game feels like you can still play it now. It looks older, sure, but it doesn't have problems. It's not like when I tried playing Star Fox and I'm like, this with the D-pad, no analog stick, at 5 frames per second, and somehow I beat the game like in 93. How did I do that? So I would still put Halo 2 as my favorite game of all time. And I don't really see much happening to take that off the pedestal, but there are other things that we maybe need to start to think about including. When you look at something that is graphics detailed, and then you see, oh, the next gen console comes out now. Why am I playing this 360? The 360 game's got this weird clay look to them, or it was a Resident Evil 5 hitting you with this weird bleach look, super concentrated colors, but the shadows are so dark. That was the style, right? So how rate the graphics for that stuff? I need to play Witcher 3 with the next gen update. I've never got around to downloading that, but I'm getting to the point where I need to really start to revisit stuff on my backlog. I need to play Dead Space remake. I need to play. I was doing Twitch of Mega Man. Didn't seem to be drawing a big crowd, but I might just skip through the collection and just go to Mega Man 11 and see what you guys think about that. Uncanny Valley is rough for early 3D. I don't think so. The Uncanny Valley is not a sound argument. The idea is it looks human, but it's not quite, and that is unsettling and scares you. My logic here is somebody like Nintendo shines when it comes to the approach, if we're talking games and realistic graphics, because they largely avoid realism. A lot of the Japanese devs, and shoot, all these devs out of Europe and everything making the indie titles, they avoid realism because it is so much easier to have a look that is going to be aesthetically pleasing than to aim for realism and come up short and get people upset. So if you aim for realism, you really have to bring it. And it's a lot of effort, super expensive. And as you can see, the games that run for realism now on the Series X, they don't get 60 frames per second out of them. You get 30 if you're damn lucky. Plague Tale Requiem and, oh gosh, Sinuous Saga? It's Saga, right? Hellblade 2? Hellblade 2. It aims for the realism. It gets there, but it does it at 30 frames per second, which sounds great if it's a movie. Movies play at 24 frames per second, but games you play, I even crank the settings up to 120. These super smooth matching, if your TV's capable, shoot, what kind of rig would you need to get Grand Theft Auto 6 at 120 frames? Because that's the way to go. So good at the time. Have you tried modern horror games? Kind of. What constitutes a modern horror? All the recent Resident Evils. I've got playthroughs on my channel of most of it. I'm trying to think. I don't think I posted 5 or 6 because I was just kind of like, every time it's the playthrough from Twitch, it just destroys the algorithm. Just sees it and goes, screw it, telling anybody about this channel. I have to get a little pickier about what I'm doing. Like I was going to talk about board games, and I'm probably just going to save that for Amazon. Amazon loves me putting up stuff I got from Amazon and telling people about it and recommending things to people. I may have to really just kind of leave that to Amazon and be like, look, if you guys want to check out my finds on Amazon, go to my shop, because not all that content's going to come over. I got new Apple Watch bands, and no, Siri, shut up. And I got a Nike Sport Band. And I'll tell you this, it's more comfortable than the old one. I've got the original nylon loop, and it kind of irritates you. You could sleep in yeah, you can feel the springiness for sure on the new Nike one. It's got like this nice little pull tab over here, and it's sort of a sewn thing right here. So like when you have your hand down resting and you're typing, you don't have like a clink. You don't want metal rubbing against marking up your Mac but yeah, I mean, I've shot video on this, but then I'm thinking, oh, if I post a video about these, the channel exodus will come because I'm not talking about movies and games. So I try to cover everything that's like interest to me in a concise manner. I don't need to be putting out 45-minute video essays for Season 6 Part 1 because there's not that much really worth saying. You know, you guys have something else to do with your life. You don't need to be watching somebody talk forever. And people don't even watch those videos. They put it on and they clean house, and it's something to listen to in the background. They don't have a visual component to it. The difference between what we used to get on TV and what we have on YouTube now. Is there a YouTube channel you actually watch? Like the visuals match what they're talking about? And I need to get rid of this brain thing. It's probably distracting you guys. Do the visuals actually match what they're talking about? Because I don't think so. It's a bunch of nonsense, and they play a game clip, and it might be the same. Sometimes it isn't. So we're getting lost here in my rambling. Yeah, modern horror games. I played Soma. It's probably about 10 years old. Kind of a horror game. It's an Alien Isolation Light. But I played mostly the Resident Evils. I've played a little bit of Dead by Daylight. I suck at it. There are a few other kind of story-driven horror games that I have kind of avoided because they like the $70 pricing. I'm like, I'm not trying a game at that price. All right. How's this what is convincing at the time shifts as graphics get better? To the common folk, they say like, well, those graphics didn't age well. No, they stayed the same. They were the same then. There are approaches to take where graphics do age well, simply because they were good to start with. Look at all the effects they throw at you in a Marvel vs. Capcom title. The first Marvel vs. Capcom. Effects everywhere. But fairly generic looking 1995-ish character designs, pixel art. Not really up to the par of these I think Street Fighter 3 was out by then, but it's not to that spec. Kind of doesn't matter. If it was polygons, it would have been very low poly. It would have looked bad. So they went for what looked better. It doesn't matter if poly was in at the time. Look at Mortal Kombat 4. Who plays that, right? But you might be more inclined to play MK1 or 2, not just out of curiosity. They look better. And they looked better new. As porn movies, you've got cameras and directors and actors and on some kind of plot, but still are they... I like to think of a movie as something that was released theatrically. I know that we have the Netflix, right? At a time when I was reviewing movies more, I had to kind of put like the indie stuff off to the side. Yeah, everybody thinks they saw the worst movie. There are indie movies that don't get distribution that I guarantee you are worse. They have no budget, and they're incompetent, and they tell a predictable, mundane story with bad acting. You don't get all the suck in one movie. And I'll clip that shit too. So yeah, the porn movie's not a movie. It's kind of amazing how production values are looking about for everybody now. Like, I'm a loser, but there's a lot of people with hit channels that have about the same camera setup as I do, right? The porn stuff is looking Marvel movies because they have the cheapening effect of bud cuts on the big budget movies and making everything churned out with a cookie cutter is lowering the quality of the picture while domestic prosumer grade equipment is getting somewhat within reach. Which will you watch? Deadpool in theaters, and will you watch Deadpool in theaters and do a review? I've had a lot going on at the house right now. We've got landscape things happening. We've got a deck coming in. Got a lot of things happening, and I didn't really want to go out watching a movie. I also have some stand up I have to prep for. I've got a lot of like schools are doing a thing where they want to bring in like a comedian for the staff the week before school starts to kind of like get them amped up and excited for the school year. So I'm going to just tell them like a bunch of miserable stuff being a kid and be like, yeah, and then in sixth grade, we got a brand new invention, the dry erase board. Things like that. And you knew it was a special day when they wheeled out the TV with the VHS tape and you watched Star Wars again. Old stories. So I've got a few things to do, and I don't know if to do the kind of review I've been doing lately, it's really hard to do with a new release film because I have to get the clips. Can't get the clips. So would you be okay with me sitting and I'll have, let's pull this over. I'll have the good mic. I'll have like the $1,000 audio equipment over here, but that's about all I could do for you when it comes to. No one really gave a shit about my Bad Boys Ride or Die review because it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, right? It just comes off like a drinker recommend shit. So, if there's demand for it, if you guys buy my ticket for Deadpool and Wolverine, I'll go see it by myself or make my mom come with, and then maybe we do a talk on the podcast. Though I just put out this week's episode, so we'd have to wait till next week. That way. It kind of depends. I don't know. What's your thoughts on why Hollywood doesn't make a lot of Western movies or TV shows anymore? They kind of do. Isn't the biggest show on TV Yellowstone? Wasn't it for a time? Like every once in a while something comes up. The Walking Dead was a show. Game of Thrones. Yellowstone. Maybe not most viewers, but have like a certain buzz and people watch them live. Incredibly hard to do to get people to. And Walking Dead was like that for a while. Like it was with Twitter. Like, oh, you're live tweet the show. I don't think people could do that for boys. And I was going to do like a live chat with this girl that's into the boys stuff. Couldn't really work out the schedule. But now it's irrelevant, right? The boys, it's going to be irrelevant until the new Soldier Boy prequel comes out or whatever else. So, yeah, and also Cobra Kai, season 6 part 1 drops on one day. Already irrelevant. You get one weekend out of this stuff. The old formula of, hell, I like the way AMC did it. They split the seasons on an episode out each week, right? You were never too far away from news of The Walking Dead. You're 6 months out. Now we wait 2 years for The Boys, guys. And that's normal. People will accept it as normal because lockdown and actor strike. So now that's what we have. So I do think they got Westerns out. A lot of Yellowstone spin-offs. I'm sure somebody else will come up with some other way to copy that. There's possibilities with Westerns, but as you get further away from a time period, it is harder to mimic the time period. It's more work making something look like it took place in the 80s now than it's in the 90s. So consider that. All the buildings are changing. You're going to end up with a bunch of CGI, horrible looking buildings, things that are not going to fit right. Oh, but we have the technology, so it's expensive. I don't know. What was the best Alien movie, including Ridley Scott's series also? So you're saying Prometheus and Covenant. Well, spoilers, it's not those two. As you know, I posted the commentary track yesterday. I watched this in 4K, the 4K release. It kind of works and it kind of doesn't. There are points where the shadows, stark lighting, characters moving in and out of focus, the AI, the upscaling here to get that to 4K doesn't work quite right. I don't think this has full nit range. Like, it doesn't go like 300 nits. So it doesn't feel like HDR either. And the picture is very much like pull. You don't get dark. You don't get bright. Instead, it's kind of mushed together. But it brings out a lot of details in the alien nest that you haven't seen before. Said Alien, the original Alien, is a better movie. Alien's super good. Really, really like it. One of my favorites. But I think the first one's... There are people who agree with me. There are people who don't. This is not something where I should be fighting each other over which of the two Aliens movies is best. I even like the third one, but not to this. So, and if you're new here, my stance on Alien 3, good movie, bad sequel. Hell, clip that for the hell of it too. Yeah, the Ridley Scott stuff's bad. I early money on Prometheus sucked. I'm like, really? The trailer was member berries. Hey, it sounds just like the original Alien trailer. It's edited the same way. Wow, this is like things I like. Look how pretty it is. I'm excited for this. The member berries get people every damn time, and I was first to see through it. And I get no credit because that's me. So when I actually did see it, I'm like, this is garbage, and I complained about it. And I mean, that was a movie that people realized there were problems with earlier. Now I hate how I watched The Force Awakens again, and it doesn't hold up as well on repeat viewing. Well, because it was trash to begin with. You're just not smart enough to realize things on one view. That's the problem for a lot of these experts over here. Modern writers and directors just suck at the craft. They do. I've seen the argument that the old guard, they went to wars, they did things, they traveled the world and got stories to tell. And then you have people that come in and they went to school to make movies and they brought certain things to the table. Now we have people appointed strictly on they know a rich guy who can get them the job. And is it their dad? Is it their friend? They were allowed to go to a certain college, so they made friends that were rich. They sold drugs to the rich kid, and so they got the shoot. You got this girl making that Acolyte series only because she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. Which I don't know how you're not arrested. Doesn't it? Is she not Ghislaine Maxwell? Like, is that not the same thing? How come she's immune to this island? How come she's not brought in? Is it because the guy didn't have an island? Or maybe he did, we just didn't hear about it. Shit. It's entirely about who you know, and if you live in Kansas like me, you're not going to know anyone, and you have to do everything by yourself and 5 people notice. I'm sorry. Let's clip that too. Leslie Headland, client list, whatever. Didn't she? Surely she set up a lot of these girls to get taken advantage of. Am I mistaken? You're the personal assistant. What is your job? And no one wants to bring that up? Has Ridley Scott lost his touch in his old age? A lot of recent movies have been bust creatively. What's he doing other than going back to what working? Like, he had that movie about the duel thing, but he already did the Duelist movie. He's done a few Alien things, and now he's theater again. The guy is not giving up until he gets a Best Director Oscar. So just go ahead and hand it to him. Make an exception like that ginger chick from Jurassic World. No, it's World. Oh, God, what's her name? She got killed in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. She ruined The Big Lebowski. But she's like, I'm going to keep getting naked until you guys give me an award. Okay, fine. We're done. Take it. That you got to do the same thing for Ridley Scott. He's either going to die or he's going to keep making stuff until he gets a Best Director Oscar. Gladiator 2, I watched part of the trailer with the sound off. And I was thinking, this doesn't look too bad. It kind of looks like I saw a lot of the movie in the trailer, a lot of things, but evidently if you had the sound on and you have like Jay-Z beats over it, it kind of changes things. It's like, oh, we have to appeal to the urban crowd. How do we best do this? Or like, oh, well, since Denzel's here, we have to play rap. I would think Denzel would have to look down upon that. Ridley Scott, still, he makes a good movie. His stuff doesn't look like, oh, that looks like a streaming show, or that looks straight to TV. Stuff doesn't look cheap. So, a lot of people try to copy his style and apply it elsewhere in other genres. Michael Bay, David Fincher. So, I mean, hell, I think the Blumhouse stuff is it probably watches Alien ad nauseum and tries to think about how they can make things look like that. How do you make money? YouTube can't be paying you that much, right? Correct. It is a combination of revenue streams. The YouTube ad revenues, correct. I don't fleece people. You're not doing a membership, though we may have to because I chipped a tooth and I need to address that. So that really sucks. But yeah, so maybe I'll have to start some membership, almost like a GoFundMe. But the sales, like through the stuff I like tag in YouTube videos and Amazon, all that sort of stuff, it all adds up decently. So do you find Geraldine Visnavin from Dell's More? Who the hell is that? Dawn just likes to show up and have me like pick one of two chicks, right? What do you miss about most of the early 2000s? I think we talked about that. Or maybe we talked about 90s last time. Early 2000s. Yeah, and shoot, like the 90s thing going where there was like new songs coming out that sounded new and cool and fun. Songs used to be about a good vibe, and now it is, I'm so amazing, I'm better than this guy over here. That's all it is. It's entirely about bragging now. So you should have like an album, your mixtape, greatest mixtape of all time, no cap. It would go gold. You know, people would buy it. Well, it has to be the best. He said it was the best. Asshole names himself John Legend. Well, he must be good. Shit. I'll save that clip too for the hell of it. Anya Charlotta, however you pronounce her name, or Elle Fanning for dating. I just sub in Dakota Fanning. I know she's older than Elle. I'll take Dakota. Dakota and I think, could hang out pretty good. Is Henry Cavill overrated? Yes. What does he do as Superman that appealing to people? He's got a funny nose and a receding hairline. And his Superman, he doesn't seem like the good Boy Scout, courteous dude. Even as Clark Kent, from what I saw him as Clark Kent, he's almost just the same personality. I watched the old Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, and it's not even like at all. Christopher Reeve, way better. Pretty sure it's Reeve and not Reeves. Most people say Reeves. So, favorite vampire movie? Ooh. Man, I may have to get back to you on that. Because, was it 87 we had Near Dark and The Lost Boys? And they both have interesting things going for them. The thing that goes against Near Dark is they don't look anything like we think vampires should look like. And instead it seems more like roaming homeless traveler beggar types most. And then also 85, you've got the kid who has the guy that had the Jeep ran over him, did the remake. What was that called? That was not bad also. There's good vampire. That Dracula from like 79 is not bad. And the chicks in it is hot. And there's some really good effects too. So check that out. That was with, I think, Frank Langella was Dracula. Interview with the Vampire sucks. Yeah, but there's occasionally a good vampire movie. Bram Stoker's Dracula I don't like, but that armor, that red armor hits. I hear you can kind of get that in Witcher 3. I need to give that a shot, don't I? If that's the case. Would you review a movie with your dad instead of your mom? Probably not. He is old. He turns 70 on Sunday, and he talks like Clint Eastwood. It would take forever, and my mom's funnier, unintentionally so. Just today, I had her explain Aliens to the hilarity of many. She got the plot kind of right-ish. She mentioned flames, like, but she thought that for some reason aliens shrunk like the Wicked Witch from the West. So, what's your favorite rom-com movie? I'm going to throw something out there for you guys. You don't realize this is a rom-com, but it is. Jerry Maguire. Tom Cruise made a sleeper rom-com movie that you watched because, oh, it's about a sports agent. There's sports stars in it. Oh, kind of a drama. It's got a comedy thing going. You don't realize it's a comedy, a romantic comedy in particular. But then you're like, wait a minute. Renee Zellweger, isn't that the kind of movie she makes? Tom Cruise doesn't make these kinds of movies. Oh, yeah. Tom Cruise made a sleeper rom-com and everybody likes it. You just don't realize it. Clip that. So, did I hit clip thing? Okay, there you go. Oh, for some reason, the way you spelled rom-com, I thought you were saying CD-ROM at first, but I saved it. I saved myself from embarrassment there. Django, how come you have a wrench next to your name? Does that mean you like edit comment? Like, and your name's in blue. I don't understand that. Django Esco Ricky. What movie star would you love to meet if you could? Never meet stars, guys. It is way too late to meet Sylvester Stallone or Schwarzenegger and not feel immensely disappointed and depressed. So don't do it. You meet Tom Cruise now. Have you seen his face lately? It's like flattening out over there like Pat Sajak. Do not meet your heroes. All right. I'm getting a lot of clips going here. Was thousands peak of blockbuster movies? No. 90s. 90s was. Even though you wouldn't have the DVD, the issue with the DVD is, did you ever rent one that worked all the way? Seriously. Like, we look back at Blockbuster and with all the nostalgia goggles on. We put on the nostalgia goggles. We put on the red colored glasses over that shit. Blockbuster smelled funny. They oftentimes didn't have what you're looking for. Oh, but when Titanic comes out, we have a whole wall dedicated to it. But the VHS actually played more effectively as a rental device than DVDs. DVDs get a scratch and you're skipping all kinds of things. That kind of made me wonder, like, I'm buying 4K movies lately and Blu-rays. If you rented that shit out, would that work at all? Or is the laser better? Like, because that was terrible. And I'll tell you, I put the screws to Blockbuster, man. I was working at our Kroger chain, Dillon's. I was working in the early 2000s in their video area, video 1 hour photo. Remember 1 hour photo? And I mean, I came up with plans and stuff, and we had like a employee pick list and things and all kinds of stuff. We can make recommendations. A lot of people would walk in specifically just to hear me tell them what to watch. So you can see the bright future that came of, right? And that was in the times we didn't get too many complaints about discs not working. A lot of people kind of overlooked it, almost like any number of errors now. I was watching Bone Tomahawk last night. All of a sudden, in the middle of the movie, I get a sound that comes from the game Immortality on Netflix. There are Netflix chimes and beeps in the Netflix interface now that come from that game, and it alarms me. And I don't know why. I'm watching the movie uninterrupted, doesn't pause, and it goes ring, and it makes the sound. And it kind of makes me feel like, oh, the DVD skipped, or there was a bad spot or something in the DVD. Are we introducing errors to streams now so that we can nostalgia factor? Do you think Inception was an overrated movie? Yes. That's a movie that I liked. It came out, I gave it 3 out of 4 stars. Everybody else seemed to be blown away. While I'm like, I'm not sure the story really holds up, nor was there a real attempt for the story to hold up, and it did a choose your own ending. Let's keep it open so that you talk about it. And I mean, I checked out this channel EFAP where you got a bunch of jerk-offs who don't make content on YouTube. Instead, they complain about everybody else's stuff. They don't really offer to put out reviews. They just kind of bash whatever because that's what their audience is going for. And my audience kind of likes me to bash stuff too, but you have to also make things in order to really be legitimate around here, and they don't do that because that's hard. And they're over there, isn't a good ending like one that you've got to talk about? It's open to interpret it. And I'm like, no. That's lazy. That's you doing the work of the... Why can't you see that? So, that's Inception for you. 2002, 2003, we got classics. Lord of the Rings, Master and Commander. Nobody remembers that movie. The Last Samurai. People will talk about that more than Master and Commander. Star Wars Episode 2. Terrible. In 2 years alone. Now if we get one movie like... Oh man, what is so expendable now too? Because look, is anybody going to be talking about Twisters here? Like you could talk about Twister because it was unique, and now we're kind of doing the same again. So what's special about it, right? I mean, things don't feel special more. All the movies, it feels a lot of the stories worth telling have been told, don't they? Do you miss high school? Sure. Kind of. Wish I did things a little bit differently, but, you know, it's kind of the fault of the other kids for being dicks. So, yeah, it's sort of out of my hands. I probably would have fought more people, but at that point we had the zero tolerance thing in place, Columbine, so you couldn't do any fighting. But man, if I went to high school earlier, I could have just wailed on kids, really brought Fight Club to the place. You know, put kids where they needed to go. Thoughts on Wolverine? Have not seen it. But I'll tell you this: the more, and don't dare spoil the shit in the comments. The more I see of it, the less inclined I am to watch. I would have to sign up for Disney Plus. I want to do that. And I'd be forced to do the no commercials because I feel stupid paying for commercials. I don't think you'd be able to get a 4K release for this because they would rather you subscribe to Disney Plus and you not own anything. But multiverse movies don't appeal to me. Full stop. There is no good movie. Oh, well, what about the Asian, what the shit was it? Once Upon a Time, Anywhere at the Same Time, whatever. That movie is a bag of dicks right there. And people are slowly admitting it. But more importantly, it's like because the Oscars is like not popular, it didn't even get people to watch that movie. The movie, it wasn't a blockbuster, barely not a flop. And it's like, oh, the greatest multiverse thing. A multiverse of things that you have no recollection of and just makes up rules on the fly because wouldn't that be a funny scene? And we're going to do the same shit. I feel like, and don't even mention it in the comments, but I would guess that the point of Deadpool and Wolverine is to get you to lighten up to other people playing Wolverine, i.e. DEI out Wolverine. A lot of this is about replacement. Well, we have a white guy playing a hero. Oh, okay, so he's white there. How do we non-white him? How can we get that little chick X-23 to go by the name Wolverine? How can we say, oh, well, there's a different universe where we have a black guy playing Wolverine? That way, when we do have a black guy playing Wolverine, the audience is receptive. A lot of this is about replacing the white guys as the heroes. They won't do the same shit where, oh, alternate Wakanda is full of white people. It never goes both ways. That's why it's worth bringing up as an anti-white movement. Because it never goes the other direction. It is about taking the established white created characters, particularly the males, and finding some way to get the audience to be receptive of somebody else playing them. You watch that shit, Spider-Man Across the Spider, entirely about you going, oh, well, Miles Morales can also be a Spider-Man. Shit. We're doing the same stuff. Oh, well, there's a different Superman out there. Well, okay, Bruce Wayne doesn't have to be Batman, and how come he can't be black? They do that shit, I would just rather you make the character the way you want him to be and you stick with it through the whole way. I mean, who's going out there saying, we need the next Spawn to be a white guy, right? So you can make good black characters. You don't make a good black character by having to usurp the abilities of a white character. Now you're just grafting onto a black character what you liked about somebody else. Not the way to go. Why I'm unemployed. Yep, so save that rant. I agree, Alien is better when... Look, let's not say 100%. Aliens is really damn good. The 4K... Okay, so they washed the image quality together. It's not as dark and it's not as bright. But they cleaned up the image in a lot of ways that in most scenes are pretty good. You've never seen Aliens look this clean. I can understand why James Cameron went with this approach. It's less justified for which was already a clean looking movie, but Aliens looked incredibly gritty and the film grain was very present and it was very noticeable. So some efforts to kind of scale that back, I can understand. It doesn't remove it entirely, but it makes it much more presentable way. And I was just kind of just intrigued. So what's your thoughts? And you know what? Alien could have gone very wrong. I'm going to say something else controversial. The theatrical cut of every movie is the best cut and is the only cut you should ever review or give a shit about. I don't care about a director's cut, special edition, final cut, crap. Filmmaking is a collaborative process. The Alien that we got in 1979 is the definitive Alien. You start adding in other scenes. Oh, well, there's a weird thing about sex over here, and we have a guy that got cut out of the movie, but there's a scene kind of shot. Oh, let's turn everybody into eggs at the end, foregoing the opportunity we would end up having in 86's Aliens with the Queen reveal. What would you rather have? The final cut is actually the theatrical cut. That is what they agreed upon, and that is shown the public first, and that is what you review. Yeah, so there you go. Alien is almost not good. Not good, but would have killed the franchise. Oh, if we said that like Dallas is morphing into an egg, would we have a good Aliens movie? Probably not. We would have very much toned down the possibilities with the xenomorph, right? Yeah. What's your thoughts on the new Beetlejuice movie coming out in September? Will you watch? Probably not. Let's cast Wednesday Addams and have her play Wednesday Addams again. Are the Aliens movies better than the Predator films? Yes, because Alien and Aliens are... Predator is probably not quite as good as Aliens. It's not as good as Alien, but Predator easily the best of the Predator. After that, there is a chasm. Alien 3 probably as certainly higher than Predator 2, The Predator. Prey, it's kind of a shove. I like Prey, but I have some issues with it. And it certainly wants to give woman power thing at the end, well, in a way. And I'm not sure her acting is that strong, but there are elements that I like, and I need to actually revisit that and do you guys want a Prey commentary? So I need to get, but I also have to do all the other Predator. Oh shit, I don't want to. Predators, don't want to have to watch that again. The Predator. Oh, ugh. Getting a headache thinking about that shit. Yeah, so, but here's the problem. You're going to say Alien movies, you got to include probably Prometheus and Covenant. Christ. Gee. I don't know. Look, the best Alien movies are better than the best Predator movies. Go with that. What's your thoughts on the Hunger Games? Movies you like? I watched the first one. I was like, oh, so it's the man and Battle Royale, kind of presented in a way that we can call a young adult novel. Make that a thing. I actually liked Jennifer Lawrence in it. So there's that. I'm not really sure that like the logistics of it really worked, or from a game perspective, you'd never know when anyone was about to get killed. So when could you ever go for a bathroom break? You know, during the live stream. Hey, we're up to 10 viewers and smoke on the water. All right, that's enough. Let's just set off a smoke detector, guys. Come on now. Yeah, the hunger. Did that die or what? I mean, I felt like it did, and then we lost 5 people. As soon as the smoke comes out, they're like, huh, I can't have kids watching this. It's surprising that they were able to revive the Hunger Games with this, Mockingjay or Songbird of Fire, something came out with that girl that wants to get real bitter with the viewers about Snow White. Yeah, so to my surprise, it looks like they've brought new life back into that, but I guess maybe from my understanding, there's an uprising, so you don't have any more Hunger Games, so all you can really do is go to the past, right? Would you rather be a billionaire or have Homelander powers, but you can never have sex again or have children for the... Give me the home powers. Pretty much unkillable, can do whatever you want. Billionaires end up getting in trouble and having that stripped away from them. You lose your island and you go to jail and you hang yourself. So yeah, give me the Homelander powers. Prime Penelope Cruz back in the late 90s. Oh, hold on now. They're Penelope Cruz. Okay. Okay, there is no prime Scarlett Johansson. She's crap. She's always been bad. Cruz dog walks Scarlett Johansson all day of the week to present. Penelope Cruz, did she maybe look her best in that Scarlett Johansson movie where she showed up to be like, no, I'm hotter than Scarlett? What is that? Vicky Cristina Barcelona? That might be the height of her powers. Tell you the truth. So, Hades series canceled after 2 seasons. What caused this? Well, shit, I watched season 1. It sucked. Thoughts? Okay, look. There is a way to defend season 2. You brought in new people to make it, okay? But you already laid the tracks on rocky turf. Where do you go? So, they try to set it up so that season 2 ends almost where the first game starts. We have Master Chief more alone, but Cortana's with him. But in order to get there, they had some of that in place. Like, hey, we've got Cortana. Okay, finally. But let's remove her from Master Chief and change it all out. And now she looks terrible. Like, even worse. So why did we do that? Busy work, right? And that's too many streaming series are about coming up with busy work, things out so that we can get more episodes, because it's a minutes watched game is what it's all about. They dropped the ball so damn hard on Halo. They've waited to the point now where the Halo franchise is not in the zeitgeist the way it was. When it was the big thing, shit, when Halo 3 was out, they should have been like, okay, hammer some checks and get some damn movies made. Shit, you could have gotten big guys to play Chief. It could have been done. Or have some Steve Downes do the voice, but you have the guy that played Colossus in the X-Men Fox films, that because he's 6'11", it would work out. He could have, and actually he played Chief in Forward Unto Dawn or something. They could have had a film franchise, and now it is too late. Because what else do you do on video game franchises? There has going on with Fortnite. And why isn't there? Why isn't there a Fortnite streaming series? That's a no-brainer. Kids would watch that. Am I wrong? Like, is it going to take Seth Rogen saying he wants to bankroll or wants his name attached to a Fortnite show happen? Is that what it's going to take? Is that what we're going to wait for? You got to strike when the iron's hot, and they waited too damn long. So Halo's kind of on life support. You didn't gain new viewers for the franchise. People didn't start playing the game because season 2 of Halo on Paramount Plus came out. It didn't work that way. It made something that was niche feel even more niche and betraying the fans. So there's a lot of fan betrayal. Mandalorian largely works with a guy wearing a helmet the whole time, and that it seemed pretty simple that you needed to keep the helmet on him. Instead, they're like, screw it, let's lose the armor. They don't even give him his armor back until the end of season 2. Lots of mistakes were made. Yep. Did you ever watch Falling Down? No, I have not. That's from the director of The Lost Boys, Joel Schumacher, right? Did you like it? Well, I just said I haven't seen parts, and I'm always more inclined to check out movies made from like the 90s when things were shot on film. When you know cars are driven on roads and people have conversations in vehicles that are being driven or towed or something, rather than sitting in a green screen soundstage. I'm way more inclined to go back and visit those things where I know real shit happens. And yeah, so I am kind of looking. If that's available somewhere, I'll check it out. Why is Emma Stone doing all these weird movies with her doing a lot of sex scenes out of nowhere? I didn't think she was that kind of actress. She wasn't. Emma Stone said, one Oscar is not enough. I'm going to make a statement. I am this generation's Meryl Streep. I'm going to have the most Oscars of anyone in my class, and I'm going to be the best. Oh, in order to do that, it's kind of like LeBron James. I got to go team up with Dwayne Wade. Going in and getting naked all the time is teaming up with Dwayne Wade. It's the easy. Clip that for later if I have to make fun of Emma Stone. If they released the theatrical version of Blade Runner on Blu-ray, I would buy. I prefer the theatrical version of Blade Runner over the director's cut. There are problems with it. Harrison Ford owns in the voiceover. However, it's supposed to be a neo-noir mystery detective type setup, okay? What do you have in those old black and whites? You got the voiceover, narration. That's what they were aiming for. You remove that from the film, and yeah, okay, it was a terrible performance by Harrison Ford. Gotcha. He like a limp noodle. However, you only understand the story when watching the director's cut. You've heard of everything outside, all the outside material. You've had other people explain shit to you. You watched the YouTube fan theory things, or you saw the original theatrical cut first to make sense of it. So without that, you end up with kind of a messy movie. Is Stranger Things overrated? I don't feel it is maybe appropriately rated at this point. I think it started out very overrated, but as it went on, it had to go to tell its own thing rather than rip off Stephen King and Steven Spielberg. The kids largely are entertaining and fun, although grating at times. There is appeal. It's seeing how it's able to get the cross appeal, the nostalgia factor from the adults, and then the kids, it's like, well, this is the only thing the kids do anymore. It's the show for us. So you got crossover appeal. It largely works. I wonder what they're going to do with the ginger chick, because she ended up blind at the end of the last season. Spoilers, so I don't know if they'll remedy that or whatever. Max, right? Millie Bobby Brown or Anya Charlotte, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Why do I have to choose either? They have British accents. Jesus Christ. Will you ever move out of your mom's home? Probably not. Blake Lively or Jennifer Lawrence dating? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, really the only, well, I wouldn't say only, but one of my favorite Hollywood couples. Well, one of the few said if they broke up. Them and Christine Taylor and Ben Stiller. Other than that, everybody's a scumbag. So, what is your dream career? But I have viewers. All right, we'll clip that for whatever. 2 questions. 1, what 2 movies do you recommend from Neon? Shoot, what have they made? What did you think of the game? Did Neon make the Neon Demon? Because I liked that. It was weird. It was weird in a way that worked like a weird psychological horror thing about modeling. I think they might have made the Neon Demon. I could be wrong, but I'm not really sure what. Neon also makes Long Legs, which I guess I'll get to watching at some point. but it'll probably end up on a streaming platform I have. I'm thinking Prime Video for some reason. What do you think of Game of Thrones season 5? I never watched it. Or I did. I watched 3 episodes of one season. Not a lot happened. I mean, it's like 3 hours of just, oh, I saw those guys in one episode and never again. It's a huge soap opera cast to cover, and not everybody's there each week. I didn't get into that. Do you think Disney has ruined box office for other studios? Yeah, probably. It seems if you don't make over 3 times your budget, your movie is considered. It's amazing how movies can make, and this happened with Justice League. It's a $700 million flop. Like, huh? So you made the gross of the original Star Wars and you're a flop. Okay. Like, that's the danger we've gotten into. Actually, I'm going to propose something here. You want to see some shit go down. Who are these dumbasses running Walmart? Okay? Because Walmart is about to get themselves out of relevance with pop culture. People are not wanting... Look, you walk into Walmart, you get depressed. Why? Because it's ugly inside and you have a bunch of depressed people working there who are there because they have to be, okay? They're because the parole, all right? You don't want to go into Walmart, but Walmart is the biggest grocery supplier. What happens when everybody just decides to have stuff shipped to their house, even if it's not that convenient and they have to wait an extra day? What's going to happen? Even if they're willing to do that with the groceries. People are much more inclined to walk over to Target, go to Target, whatever, have something delivered from Target. It doesn't matter. Target's friendlier. Walmart has a lot of dough. They need to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. If Walmart buys Warner Brothers Discovery, you have a shake and bake operation with one of the major streaming platforms. You could also consolidate the Discovery Plus, which I used to have. Watched lots on there. There were a few Discovery Channel things worthwhile. But that also gives you the DC stuff. Gives you all the DC heroes. You do all the shit you want with Batman. License run free with Harry Potter. Only your Walmart stores are going to have the Harry Potter stuff. Like, that's part of what's wrong with this world. Everybody's too stupid to understand that I should be in charge of shit. So, yeah, I'd save Walmart and rescue all this stuff. If anybody get their shit together. Look, you could acquire the Warner Brothers Discovery for like $22 billion, like it matters. Walmart can do that, and they just choose not to. All the movies really started when you had the top-down vertical integration of the... It's not the studio system so much, but it's like you have a media conglomerate owning the studios, and then we only have good press from ABC Disney stuff because it's in the family. We'll end up with a point where it's going to be the biggest bigs... The trillion-dollar companies are going to be the only ones that own the movie studios. Disney may not be able to compete that. So, I see Apple going to have to buy somebody. Say Apple buys Disney. Honestly, that makes sense to me. Apple buys Disney. Amazon kind of has him have to pick up something else. Shit, they could probably go for NBC, Universal, whatever they're calling their group right now. The Paramount thing, that may get folded into something else. But somebody's going to have to make a play for the Warner Brothers Discovery. And I don't really think Netflix could pull this sort of thing off. Netflix seems like such a small player when it comes to the IPs they own. What IP do they own? Own, right? Like... things kind of, and they have a license for James and the Giant Peach. Whoopity-doo. So somebody is going to make a play to snatch up the Harry Potter stuff and the DC Comics and get the ball rolling. And that it's going to have to be a huge company. Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Walmart, the only players who are going to be around at the end of the game. Okay, do you think... Oh, hold on now. Do you think... Did you run the stuff? Yeah, okay, I just went on a rant. Sophia Lillis, the redhead girl from the It movie, she is 22 now, Ortega. I only saw the one It, and I think I saw her in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Was she like an elf fairy person or something shit? She seemed kind of cool for a ginger. But I sort of think Jen Ortega is maybe our strongest of the. Is she a post 2000s birth? She might be. Is she born in like 2002 or something? Like, she's like the strongest player in class, okay? What are the pros of living in Kansas besides the rent? I don't pay for rent. So that's one of the super pros. I live in Texas where rent is way too much. Okay, look, I'm not about to say a lot of good things about Kansas because the trick is you have to convince people that there's nothing to do in Kansas so that they don't come over here with their asshole California lawyer money and drive the price up and bring in a bunch of DEI hires and ruin all the shit we have going over here. There's nothing to do in Kansas. End of. Message deleted from new to here. I must have said something really racist and that got him to delete the message. I don't know. How is dating scene in Kansas? Are the women more feminine and unlike the big cities? I don't know. I largely just stay in the basement and talk about stuff because I don't want to interact with anybody. Places everybody wants to fight me. I mean, you'd be surprised. There are some hot looking girls around, but then I always have to wonder how close are they to 18? Because the mentality of once they get out of high school, they're going to hit the beer hard and put on a good 30 pounds plus. So you can't find skinny most of my age. Like, no one is in shape aside from me. I do 40 pull-ups like every day. And that's almost my workout. Well, I hit the bike. I don't try to get the washboard abs that I had. Don't really have much use for it. It's such a time suck. And then you can't drink Mountain Dew and whatever else I'm drinking. So, yeah, I mean, you do run into cuter girls than you're told. The media will tell you that all the hot chicks are in New York City and Los Angeles. They're full of shit. But yeah, we know that the media does a lot of lying, right? Who to hear? Deleting more messages. Did he get banned or something? Is somebody modding that? Like, what happened? We don't have to delete messages, dudes. Come on now. Do you like the original interview with the vampire with Brad Pitt and Cruise? Most people say that's blasphemous. Why would that be blasphemous? Did Anne Rice not like it? Like, I don't know. I like it, but it didn't come to mind when I was in Best Vampire Movie. But there's certainly things to like about it. It meanders a bit here and there, glosses over some ground when it's a lander. Like, oh, I have different stories to tell from different periods. Would you buy a motorcycle and travel within the U.S. and bring out... No. Nope, too many female drivers on the road for one to drive a cycle and not expect to die. You ever get bored in Kansas? I hear it's boring. It is so boring in Kansas. There is nothing to do in Kansas. End of transmission. Oh, do you feel yourself become more bitter? And of course, shit. I don't know if anybody can be more disappointed in the world than I get. I mean, that's why I have to stay alone and isolated. Otherwise, I'd strike out, right? I'm not sure. Wait, you've got the wrench next to your name, Django. So does that mean is that what's happened here? And you're making things happen? I'm not sure. LOL. Are you starting to give up on becoming a big YouTuber? You have almost 20,000 subs, which is actually good because only 8% of YouTubers have 1,000 subs. Yeah, but it's so easy to make a channel and for the number's always going to be low, right? The problem is, yeah, I gain like 100 subs a week, okay? That doesn't mean 100 more people are watching my content each week. The number to stagnate or go down. I post something new, 10 hours later, it's got 20 views. At the very least, it sucks to have to tell people or the like button, but the people that prosper are the ones saying to do that. That sucks ass. You also have to make redundant content. You have to be overwhelmed and oh my God, it's a trailer. Who would have thought they would have shown a trailer at Comic-Con? Which, by the way, those assholes over in Paris, they thought that they could start the Olympics this late and coincide with CDC or CDCC and Deadpool and Wolverine. They're going to lose the pop culture war. People are going, oh yeah, I forgot the Olympics. All those assholes telling us to take a knee. Yeah, I'm going to watch that. Oh yeah. Do you feel yourself becoming more bitter and is older? Yeah, sure, okay. Are you still? Yeah, the 20 plus YouTube thing. I've never heard you talk about Robert Eggers, so do it here, please. I'm so pumped for Nosferatu. Robert Eggers. I didn't know he was making a Nosferatu. Let me guess. Starring Anya Taylor-Joy. I liked The Witch. That was really good. It was creepy. It had that polished, mid-budget kind of vibe we need in more things. So The Witch was fine with me. I didn't watch the Viking thing, whatever the hell that was called. But yeah, I don't think I've seen enough of it to know what the deal is. It seems to me like he's probably making something rather pretentious, right? I found Blockbuster DVDs worked. I went to cheaper places and the DVDs were all scratched. I was very young and were so very expensive and hard to find. And yet, somehow I found that they worked at Blockbuster. You know, the weird thing about DVDs is they could have an error in the press. I bought Thin Red Line on DVD at Target. Put it in my Xbox, would not play. Full stop. Would not play. Wouldn't start, it wouldn't register anything. I go to Target, I'm like, something's up with this disc. And I'm like, can I get another one off the shelf? Same problem. So there are so many different problems you actually could do that you don't have in streaming. They're not posting stuff on streaming platforms that have the skips in it, right? All those things that can happen. And I don't know if we got into the point where disc rot so much a thing, but couldn't it be? Your incredible 4K collection, we have to treat like the movie version of vinyl. Could you get disc rot to that? I mean, it's not perfect. Okay, what else do we have here? What are your thoughts on Adam Driver as an actor? Leading material or too ugly? That's a good question. Finally, a good question. Don. When I watched The Force Awakens, I'm like, who is this? It's like Diary of a Wimpy Sith over here. Really impressed with him. As those movies go on, it becomes apparent that the lion's share of the acting is being done by Adam Driver. And it's not even remotely close. It's certainly not Daisy Ridley. It ain't Binyaga or whatever, and it damn sure isn't Poe Dameron, whatever that guy. He's a terrible actor. Adam Driver has a lot of potential. He'll probably pick up, he'll get at least an Oscar at some point. Something will be given out to him. It always is. I think, I'm not sure in what form. Maybe there was supposed to be some push for him with that Ferrari movie. And that kind of didn't happen. Kind of a weird deal. Is Ryan Reynolds a good actor? I always think of Ryan Reynolds as the dude from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. Later, Two Guys and a Girl. The girl was Traylor Howard. She went on to become Detective Monk's second helper. In this case, she was the secretary. His first helper was his nurse, played by Biddy Schramm. And I just hit tripod. But Ryan Reynolds, I just always see him as that. I don't think he's that strong of an actor. It's kind of hard because he will always... There's always a joke element with him, and that's okay. He does that well. And sometimes with these movie stars, you're paying to see them. Deadpool you watch is as much Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Like, he had a big say in getting that done. So I wouldn't say he's a bad actor. Okay, acting-wise, he's not the best, but you go to see Ryan Reynolds for Ryan Reynolds, right? So, and it's not like he's a terrible actor either. Can I do an interview with you? No, because look, how's this going to work? I can't hear you. I can't hear myself to know if this is working. People had to say it was working, and I had to restart the stream because people said it's glitchy. So I don't know how I'd interview. Like I tried doing that interview on the that basketball channel. Michael Jordan fans are the best. That worked okay. But yeah, that was a different platform. Also, you don't have much of it, man. I need to be making deals with people who have a huge following that I can then leech off of. That's what I need. I missed Blockbuster. I just think the movies were better back then versus Netflix and the well, there's that. So when you think of Blockbuster, you're probably not thinking of a lot of that straight to video garbage from the 90s that proliferated. I mean, that played almost the Sharknado is of that ilk, and then realized that it could make fun of the situation and then had fun with the concept. Better or worse. It's kind of like when you know you suck and you lean into it. Is that really entertaining? But there's a lot of crap over at Blockbuster you just ain't that much aware of. All the action genre had so much straight to video garbage that people are just not privy to. And that was a lot of what Blockbuster allowed. Because if you couldn't get in theaters, you could Blockbuster, right? So I think we're kind of elevating Blockbuster higher than maybe we should. But to kind of distill this to something, when you scroll through Netflix, there's not much to tell you should watch something unless you look it up online, and now you're going to see the Rotten Tomatoes score. And that's going to give you a weird picture of whether or not you should watch something. At Blockbuster, you looked at the box, you said, that looks cool. I'm taking it home, and damn it, I'm going to watch that because I paid for it. And that's the way things are expected to run at the movie theater. Oh, you paid the money, so you don't leave early, right? We're supposed to be excited to go pay for something based on these trailers. But over on Netflix, everything's so incredibly disposable. Why get too invested? Oh, there's not an explosion or 2 minutes on to the next thing. Isn't that what happens? So Blockbuster had, as a gatekeeper also, it did better than Tubi, right? Like Tubi will put anything out there, for better or worse. Sometimes that's a good thing. But Blockbuster, there had to be some some element to it. The production had to be so much. At least it got video distribution. Video distribution was harder to get through now versus just ending up on a random streaming platform. There are requirements over at Netflix. The cameras you have to use cost at least $3,000 and stuff. Over elsewhere, they don't requirements, and you could just get a lot of real dirt over on these platforms. So there is a gatekeeping element that elevates Blockbuster in a sense of, hey, I paid for it, I gotta watch it, versus things becoming so now and so readily available that no one cares. It's way too easy to consume movies now, and that's why no one cares about movie reviews. Because you probably have access to the same shit I got to watch. So if you want to watch it, you go ahead. And then, so you can't review shit here anymore. So YouTube kind of lost that genre. Guess I had much better luck with DVDs, but I know DVD and Blu-ray have problems. See, the ones I bought, I don't have too much issues of late. Though, man, if I bought a 4K and it was skipping before anything went down, man, that'd be awful. And you run the disc, you have the machine spinning it up, that a lot of extra noise. The streaming, it's low noise. Like, I mean, there seems to be more advantages to the streaming, really. Though the picture on the 4K disc is better, certainly. You do see some compression even on the 4K HDR streams on the platforms that you would not see on the 4K disc. Compression artifacts and the like. Okay, what would you rate Anya Charlotta, the Yennefer from The Witcher? I wouldn't date her. She's maybe I don't know, 7.5. Like, she kind of, look, all those kind of indie girls, like most of them look kind of alike in the same sort of like, we're we're trying to be one girl. She's not, she looks somewhat to others, but don't really care. So, well, I've seen hotter Indian descent chicks, but I can't think of any. Oh, I love Star Wars Episode 2. Fair enough. No, you didn't. The wrench means Django Ricky is a moderator on your live stream. Should he not be a moderator? Should I undo that? Like, is he censoring new here? Let me look at that. Remove his standard moderator. Put user in timeout. Hide user from the... There's a timeout button. Jesus. Okay. My family would tell me the VHS tapes would come loose. Also rewinding. Oh, yes. Be kind, rewind. Not the machine to do that if you forget. Some places would charge you if you didn't. And then how would you prove that you didn't do it? I mean, there's plus and minus a lot of this stuff, right? You ever lose a VHS tape, have to replace it for $80? And contrary to popular belief, that didn't mean, oh, well, those rented out tapes were a higher grade. Yeah, they last longer. That not really a thing. The theory theater kids took over society is interesting. I wouldn't say theater kids. It's the geeks. The people that seem to rule the roost, the jocks. What relevance do they have? If they're not playing for the Dallas Cowboys or dunking, right? Like, what influence do they really got? It's such a small percentage of influence. So the cool went somewhere and died. There was a cool factor. I wonder if being a football player at your high school now means shit, if anyone even cares. If anybody goes to the games, because they're so self-absorbed and growing their TikToks and doing their stupid devious lick challenges and all this other shit. Everybody's off doing their own criminal rise. So I don't think cool looks the same way it did. The phone changed us so much. The smartphone and Facebook in particular. The 1-2 combo of what brought down society. Facebook gave you an identity online you had to keep up with. A social platform. Something I had to show people what I'm doing right now. You had a status. You didn't just say things. What you were doing. Vaughn is drinking a Mountain Dew, a Celsius, whatever. Once you put in the pocket and in the girl's purse and everything, you made everybody inclined. You like started to drift traffic away from the jock, hot chick stuff and drift geek pop culture subgenre stuff like that. That subculture. Now that you have the tech on you, you have to know about computers and shit, and you're gonna like somehow get influenced into the movies that the geeks are into. The Lord of the Rings, all that, the Marvel, all that stuff will start being of interest to you. You get further away from the physical world of sports and appearances and things, now, and you're leaning towards, I have to dress up as a hot Deadpool with a wig to get guys to like me because I have a device in my pocket and I have a presence to keep up. So that's the 1-2 punch that brought shit down. Yeah, theater kids, are there kids? Can you get kids together to learn lines? Do they care about that stuff? I don't know. Do they put on plays in school? Like, I really don't know. Will Infinity Wars be worth all the shitty Phase 5? Probably not. It's never worth it to have to drudge through any of that for the payoff. Prime Cruiser Gen Prime for shit. Here's the problem. Prime Penelope Cruz is already a hoe. So, I mean, it's kind of like you can't really overlook that. So, kind of ends up with a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. Would you do a top 5 or 10 laziest movie reviewers? I don't think I could. It'd be very difficult to determine what's the cutoff point. Who qualifies for that? There's a lot of guys out here on YouTube. They don't, damn sure, not even watching the movie. Critical Drinker now has to do this thing where, oh, you guys misunderstood. That was my review of the trailer. Why the hell are you reviewing a trailer, dumbass? That's not a thing worthy of doing. I mean, Okay, shit. I'm going to review that Corvette ZR1 that just had debuted in pictures yesterday. Haven't seen one, but okay, this is my review. What an asshole. Anybody that does a trailer review, they're looking for trouble. That's going to be on the lazy side. But yeah, this drinker guy now, he's not watching. Okay, I watched The Boys. People asked me to do the videos each week for the new episode of The Boys on Prime Video. The drinker just chimes in, hey, so I looked at, and I'm not doing a Scottish voice thing, I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, and here's what people said. They didn't like it because it went woke. Okay, do you want to maybe watch and then make that assumption? Like, I did the legwork. Shit, I don't get anybody to watch me. So, yeah, I mean, Jesus, who isn't the lazy... And by the way, why is everybody piling on Grace Randolph after I did? Shit, I got onto her, I think it might have been 2009. Or early 2010. Like, I exposed her. And now everybody's, like, seeing through her. Seeing how she plays the Access Media card. You would think tools disposable to her, she would have a better image quality setup than opening her MacBook and using the built camera. Like there'd be some effort put in, or she'd find a guy to do the work for her as far as the back end of that stuff. But she presents things like she's hosting a kids show. Wow, hey, so I saw Super Mario Bros. And there was a really bad movie. And like, where did this voice come? What's this performance? There's going to be like a plethora of bad YouTube kids now who are like, they got to point their fingers at everything. Like, well, I'm super excited. I don't even know what I'm going to point at, guys. Like, Christ. Like, stuff should be motivated more. Like, yeah, everybody's lazy on here, dude. And also, laziest movie review. Is anybody reviewing movies? They're reacting to trailers. That's shit. I don't see a lot of reviews happening anymore. I'm not even so sure if people are reviewing games. They're playing the Twitch stream. They're doing the thing live and taking money from people to read their comments, which is more lucrative than having to play through a game and then review it while it's fresh and people are looking for it. So now what you end up with is the video essay format. We have to make a 3-hour review of Hollow Knight because it's old. So if we have something that's long and we can just put a bunch of commercial breaks in and people can just go, look, I don't watch this. I can leave it on while I clean house and vacuum. Though that's the shit that mines the algorithm loves the minutes watched. So things that can be left on by accident, that's what the algorithm wants. Hey, you have like a 2-minute video talking about Cobra Kai. Why would we show that to anybody? My mom and stepdad are very conservative. They love The Boys. I don't think they understand it. They know that there's this thought that Homelander is Trump. No. I'm sure Trump wishes he was Homelander, though. But it's kind of like if the good guys are so incompetent and easy to dislike, what's wrong with rooting for the bad guy, right? I mean, at least he can get some shit done. So, do you like the Fallout New Vegas? Do you like the Fallout New Vegas? Should they do a TV series about this specific one? It looks like they're going to. Didn't Daddy at the end of Fallout end up in New Vegas? So they're bringing New Vegas into it in some fashion. I'm not playing the Fallout games. I am not inclined for this fetch quest bullshit. Hey, I live in this hut and I can't walk more than 3 feet at a time. So can you go over there and bring me this rabbit's foot? Like, I don't need any of that shit. It's not a skill thing. The stories are never that good. The graphics are crap. That it doesn't look appealing to me. I'm not playing that stuff. Falling Down is a great movie. Yeah, I mean, I've heard decent about it. What did you think of Freddy vs. Jason? I've seen... I think I saw it on TV. Yeah, I know. Basic cable or something. The whole thing. And I've seen parts, but or maybe not quite the whole thing. It looked so goddamn bad. Like, I know we want to shit an X, but that kind of has an ambitious setting, and it actually seems to be a little aware. But Freddy versus Jason has a bad, rushed thing going for it also. Like, you see, Elm Street does not look like Street. They just throw the kids in real quick to have something be done, and I'm not sure anything really adds up or makes sense. So many are just so bad. It ruins like everything about them. There isn't a great Friday. Yeah, there's not a great Friday the 13th. I would actually say the remake from '09. Look, the '09 remake has such a much better production value than the 2003 Freddy versus Jason. Like, consider it that way. Okay. Did you like Blade Runner 2020? Great visuals, but the visuals are good. I'm not really sure I would say great. I mean, it's kind of expected now they're going to look good when everything costs so much damn money. Then why wouldn't it look good, right? But good doesn't cut it. Prometheus looked good. It sucks ass. So, can I still live stream? Oh, I'm sorry. Prometheus is dog shit. Yeah, I mean, like, are you allowed to Prometheus in a live stream? That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, a friend of mine really likes the Blade Runner. It's not Blade Runner 2024, isn't it like 29 or something? It takes place further up than this, doesn't it? Am I wrong? The original one's like 2017, I think. It takes place in 2017. A la 1982. I didn't like it. It's incredibly unfocused and boring, ponderous. We have to look at the scenes shots, and it does one thing that really upsets me. You don't see a ton in movies, but I'm hoping it's not the trend. Crazy text. Like, let's show the exterior of a building and put like micro text over here so that nobody can read it. And I'm like, shit. Okay, so is this supposed to be like gaslighting me, watching this in IMAX where this would be large enough to read? Like, God's sake. That might be the most pretentious you can do. Let's have tiny, tiny font over here. I prefer the Final Cut of Blade Runner. Well, you're allowed to be wrong, Matthew Clark. It's okay. Final Cut omits too much to feel that fun. I feel like they could have spent... there's cut scenes where Deckard visits the guy that got shot at the beginning. I forgot his name. And he's in like basically the Iron Lung. But it's almost like they play different characters. And maybe that's why it's kind of cut. Because you get the feeling that that Deckard and that guy you see there, they seem like friends and buddies. There's a mentor thing happening there. And it is not in the rest of the movie. So it feels a little incongruent. There's also a weird thing that I think it's a deleted scene and you get a piece of it cut, but there's like a dead body in the hotel. Okay, a lot of it's vacant. Maybe there are dead people in there, but there's like a dead body or a dead android or some leg in a bathtub or something. And it's like kind of Ana de Armas or Yennefer actress. Jeez. Shit. Let's go with Anya for the hell of it. Did you see X-Men 97 series? I didn't. Me either. It would require a Disney Plus subscription. And look, I don't get enough views to justify a lot of things that I wasn't going to necessarily pay for. I am really curious about that. I kind of do. Are they 30-minute episodes? How many episodes are there? Could I marathon it? Not enough. If I put a review out now, it's old news. No one watches. I get less than 1,000 views. Lose 2 subscribers on the average because, hey, it's a new video. So that's an opportunity for me to remember that I need to unsub this channel. And yeah, there you go. So, I kind of think that I might like it, but they did Rogue dirty, didn't they? They gave her like hips, the boobs went down, but they kept the shit there for Storm, but the other girls got more of a slug-like body. I don't understand. So your Cartoon Network is ending. No, I've heard that's false. Did you watch Cartoon Network during its peak? No, I didn't. The only thing I recall seeing cartoon, the Mask VHS, Jim Carrey. The VHS included an interview he did with Space Ghost. So that was when Space Ghost Coast to Coast started. That was like 94. But I'd seen, really, what people watched on Cartoon Network in college? They watched the then canceled Family Guy and then canceled Futurama reruns. And that was the only time I saw that come on. All the stuff with the Flash animation kids, whatever, Adventureland World, I don't know, kid. None, I'm not for any of that stuff, any of their original things. So, Vaughn, when I delete a message, it is to correct what I wrote or the topic has grown stale. Oh, okay. See, I thought it was because you were being censored by the guy with the wrench. I don't like my questions. I thought my questions are diverse and brain. Most of your questions are this girl or this girl over here. We've seen naked and know it doesn't work. And the other one is, way younger, so it's creepy. Like, that's kind of like the direction of your. How do you film? How did your film degree after your standard for movies after or alter your standards for the movies the rest of us seem to take for granted? I think I have some insight that goes unappreciated into the distribution of films, the production, how these steps are greenlit and made, and how they exploit people. A lot of everything people seem to like, you have to consider this is so much more a business than it used to be. And by used to be, I mean, we're talking 70s and 80s where the goal was to make something good and word of mouth would generate revenue. You could have a rom-com starring Julia Roberts. You paid her pretty good, but people liked her and they went to go see it. Like, there were ways to make money with what was in the movie. And it's not like that now. They want to go for the surest bet, pile everything you can into an established IP, bring it back. How do you put a spin on things? How do you justify a remake? DEI. Hey, we have to gender flip, race swap, whatever, and that is we do this. Look at The Thing, right, with Kurt Russell. You can justify doing a remake of, was it The Thing from Another Planet, Another World? Which you could justify doing the remake because you said, hey, now we don't have, was it called the Hays Code, or was that the comic book thing? I think, I should know better. We don't have like the morality clause over here. We can get blood violent. We also have better effects breakthroughs. You could do this with CGI. Hey, we have the technology now to make these scenes look better than we could in the 50s and 60s. You don't have that anymore. We have effects for whatever movie we made in the 90s, essentially. How do we justify making the remake again? I know Spider-Man's not going to be a white guy. It'll be things like that. So these are the things brought in, and then they kind of think, how can we move money around between the people we owe favors and get their kids to be directors and producers? We don't let any new talent show up. It's often do you see somebody direct a movie that's not 40 plus? Shit. In the 70s, when budgets were feasible and you didn't have to have $500 million campaigns to get people to go to a movie theater to spend $30 or whatever shit. You could have people direct movies and make some avant-garde things, and you can't now. You give them that money, it's going to go to Tubi. It ain't going anywhere anybody's going to be inclined to see stuff, So, best movie of 2023. Shit, name some horror movies from 2023. I don't remember any. Who goes to the movie theaters? right? Like you'll go a couple of times a year. Or people are probably going to joke that Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny was a horror movie, right? New here, cool bro. Django is all right. Then deletes a message. Okay, I wrote that because you had asked me why he was blue. Okay, yeah, he's blue and has the wrench. Do we need to give out some more wrenches around here? Did you like the project? Yes, and I watched the remake with the that gets naked in Alien Covenant, and it was dumb. And well, it's not a remake. Didn't they call it Blair Witch? And it might have came out just before the lockdown or something, but it was so stupid. It's that is a bag of tricks movie, and once you have taken the cat out of the bag and people know that it's not real and things, then you can't look at the sequels and things. You know what? I actually recorded and got the clips for the Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2 review, and I've never got around to posting it. And I don't think there's any interest in you guys seeing that anyway. Not a good movie. It kind of has to be, because it has to go for a more traditional movie once you realize, oh, so that was a movie. The original Blair Witch had a great marketing thing going where there was enough information online in the way that we have information now. We don't have the community notes, to check this stuff. They could actually get you to think, no, this footage from these kids got lost and might have got killed by a witch. I don't know. You look for yourself. You see the witch in the video. So it's a pretty novel concept for what they had to work with. I thought that they achieved the effect very well, actually. You can understand why the Blair Witch made so much money. Who is the new king of cool? God. It's there. You don't penetration as an actor that you used to. People used to look up the movie stars and shit. I don't know if we really have new movie stars. So the coolest person is probably by default Taylor Swift. Whatever she says, go. And she's going to tell everybody to vote for Kamala, and that'll be enough to do it. Because we got to please Senpai or some shit, right? So I guess she's by default the king of cool. Cats. Just before she was the biggest star on Earth. Even though she was already well known. It's kind of weird how she suddenly becomes famous. Hey, I have a tour where I go to stadiums and sing the songs you already know. But you would think that her star appeal would have gotten asses in seats for cats, and boy didn't it. Are doing reaction videos cringe? People just stare at the screen. Yeah, and you see this shit show up on like Instagram where it's like, do we need the guy in the corner watching this? Why is he here? I came here to watch the clip of the bird fighting the cat. And there's this guy like sitting in the corner watching me and doesn't even say anything. So what are they adding? And the worst part is that stuff gets shown to me, and it's a vicious circle. And we're getting a lot of crap is getting shit. Oh, Stefan Stern retracted. Sorry. You have to stop using the smoke when you reach 10 viewers. It has very much. Twice. That's why we're not getting close. I don't know why you guys would hate that. I think you'd be like, special effects. Yeah. What do you think is the worst Friday the 13th? Oh, geez. I think it's Jason. Oh, geez. That's maybe. That movie is disappointingly bad. That movie brings the cheap out in a way I did not anticipate. And it's one of those like dangerously bads where I watched it like a year ago and remember almost nothing about it, because it's one of those like traumatic events. Like, no, we got to wipe that from your memory. So yeah, could be. That's a good contender. I thought 6 was bad because it got like a weird campy vibe. Like it was leaning into comedy in a, just like the way he dispatched the the goofballs that were doing the ball thing on their like company retreat, and the way everything kind of gets glossed over. And then you have the kids are actually in the camp in that, and they're like not scared. Like, they're saying all the usual shtick, like, there goes the neighborhood, right? Like, they'll say things like that. I've got low power mode on. Let me know if that's a problem. I ran down to 20 battery. We're getting to be in a kind of a long stream here, guys. May have to wrap this up pretty soon. Limited by battery. Hey, you guys want to buy me a new battery for I want to replace my iPhone 13 mini because they don't make the damn mini anymore. What do you think is the worst? Okay, Jason goes, hell, what are your thoughts on K movies and TV? More people need to see My Sassy Girl. There's a reason why that comes out. Everything is My Sassy, My Something Girl. There's a reason for that. Check out My Sassy Girl. Did you like the Stargate series? I have not seen a whole episode of that. I've seen parts of it. I can see the appeal. It has a very 90s TNG vibe to it. I think I might have watched like maybe the final episode thing, and they had a spaceship by then, because I was curious. I'm like, oh hey, the final episode. It's been a while. And it doesn't look modern in a lot of ways. Like, it doesn't look like an episode of, for instance. It doesn't look like a movie. It looks very much like we have a wall down and we shoot in this direction, the bridge of the thing. So I don't know. I just really didn't get into it. Why are movie theaters so expensive at the food court? Captive events, they always lean on that. I don't understand why someone doesn't go, why don't we offer affordable popcorn and drink, and maybe we'll sell more of them. It's gotten almost to the point now where the audience is small enough. People that do show up in the theater are like, may as well. And that's been me the last couple times. I'm pretty damn sure I spent $30 on and drink at Bad Boys Ride or Die. Afterwards, I got chicken, like a full rice, pilaf, chicken fingers, all the goods for $14 at a restaurant immediately after. Like, Jesus shit. Lastly, message was meant to be a joke, I figured. Scream 6 was the worst horror movie. Okay, there you go. That's a shit. God damn bad. Was that 2023? Okay. The one before it was bad too. Like, that's the problem, right? This is kind of narrow. I do more of a angled, like kind of the way we were told to shoot documentaries into a corner. May try that next time. For live stream, move this over here. Maybe have more of a dynamic background. It might look even more professional. But I think the picture kind of ends up just garbage. I'm okay on my end, but pixelated low res for you guys. Sorry. Okay, and probably the smile. Probably. Yeah, I'd say smile was the. I didn't like smile. Shit, but if, oh God, what was the black phone? Was that 2022? Didn't like that either. Like, crime. What? Good horror's hard to do, man. I mean, I have a few concepts for a horror movie. May as well say them here. No one's watching. Rabbit. Just this guy, he had a rabbit at the start of the month. You don't really understand why. And then one day he goes on like a date with some chick, and he wakes up and it's like, hey, you want some eggs, breakfast, whatever, okay? And he realizes he didn't say rabbit, so he murders her immediately. It'd almost be like a short film concept, but you could stretch it out. Oh, well, it's such a good short, we can do the feature. Here, Neon, there you go. But that would be the thing. It's kind of based on one thing, so you'd have a set, like a vague setup with like a payoff at the end. But they don't let me make movies because white mad. So shit. All right, we're coming to the questions here. Let's wrap this up, guys. Everybody gets one more. Why don't you make a Roll and Odyssey or BitChute channels? You could port your. Oh my! Then I don't have interns. You realize that the people who do all, not even doing it. You got that black girl who gets shuffled around between PragerU, The Blaze, and Daily Wire. She can't produce her show. They just sit her down in front of a mic and say, do things. These people don't make stuff. I do. And I'm too much of a stickler for attention to detail to be having other people do that shit. I wouldn't mind having some interns on and, have them field making the content. Not the content. I feel almost like as a YouTuber, you have to edit your own videos or you're not a YouTube personality anymore. You're a gun for hire or something else. It feels like you're station man. Like you're at the operation. You're almost like a slave media at that point. Neurotic. How many people do you have to edit your bad videos saying the things everybody expects you to say? Oh, okay. Like you have a wall lined up with action figures. That makes you an expert. Christ. I don't want to just have to port things to other places and have to read all the other comments over there, and then they go under, and I realize it's a waste of time. Already had that happen with Blip TV. Oh, guys, hey, because I'm demonetized over here, I'm going to Blip TV now. Oh, okay, see ya. Not making an account over there. Like, you never was the YouTube audience. They've got a stranglehold on this whole subgenre of entertainment. Am I starting to sound a little bit like Alex Jones over here? Because they're going after Trump. How can he talk like that for hours at a time? What are we saying here? Did the original It movie scare you? You mean miniseries? It seems too campy. I can kind of understand them going for the remake and then kind of set it in the late 80s. Makes some sense. The original It, you mean like the chapter 1 It that made all the money? Or if you're talking about that, I mean, there's it that are interesting, but clowns aren't scary, and a clown dance, like shuffling back and forth doing the pendulum thing, like New Kids on the Block, is not scary. And is it ramping up to go attack? The camera shakes. It's like some kind of shit they do WWE now. The move's so devastating. Wow. Whoa. God damn. Everything sucks. Like, that should be the name of the stream. Can you watch the original Star Trek series? I started it. I have Paramount Plus until the end of the year. Paramount Plus is one of the more affordable options out there. They give you the 4K with if you get no ads version, you get the 4K also. And I got a full year for like $90. That's what streaming should be at. It's only going to be, $20 each month. Shit's sake. Your stuff is not that good for me to be bankrolling to that degree, right? Sight unseen. I am in like the latter half of season 1 of Star Trek, and it's hard to get back into it. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I already know everything. No one's dying. Like, because we know Kirk, McCoy, Scott, like Nurse Chapel, none of these characters are dying, so they're going to get out of every situation. So there are some episodes I was like, oh hey, the first one with the Klingons, maybe I haven't even gotten there. The first one with the Romulans, like certain first encounters that are intriguing, but otherwise I don't see much reason to revisit the show because we know too much what happened later. It's kind of why it took me forever to watch The Godfather, because I've seen too much of it or heard. So then it doesn't feel like there's a story to be exposed to. Okay, have you seen Rob Zombie's Halloween? No, but I saw his Halloween 2, and Christ did I hate it. If so, did you hate it like everyone? No, see, that's the thing. I haven't seen his Halloween. I don't plan to, because 2 was really damn bad. That was brutally bad stuff. The best thing about it was at the screening. I saw like the screening they did the night before it came out when they were testing at the theater, and it like sat on the last frame too long, melted it, and that was a cool effect. It's like some kind of thing they'd put in a Grindhouse trailer thing from Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. So yeah, seeing it happen in real time was the coolest part. Okay, looks like we're at the end of the question. Is this worth doing each Friday? I was alternatively going to post my video on The Sandlot and how it ruined or ended my childhood. But I thought I'd put that on Friday because then it gives it the weekend to kind of be like my star thing. Like, oh, that's my latest video. Maybe the algorithm get up. It kind of feels like if you put too much stuff out, the algorithm's like, no, he'll have a video later today, so we don't need to show anybody that one from yesterday. So I also do need to do Twitch streams. I have a subscriber. I don't really want to leave him hanging, but it's been almost a month since I did anything over there, so I got to figure out when to do that. But then if I mention that, you guys aren't going to follow me over on a Twitch stream, so yeah, dividing your audience. Don't bother with those other upstart platforms. Oh, they're free speech. Yeah, they also don't have an audience or anything, and or like ways to make any cash. So, and also the new product tagging integration in YouTube triples ad revenue easily on here. And when you have thousands of videos like I do, now you don't even have to work. It's like shit. People just end up finding the old video you did about the thing, and now they can buy the item that you've reviewed. So, so easily. And you get a pretty damn good commission from YouTube's rates. The way they kind of set it up. Though I'm sure seems like I should be getting more. Maybe they take their share off the back end. All right, we're going to wrap this up before I say something racist. See you next time. I guess we'll do this next week, and I'll do my I have to do my video I shot on the Sandlot soonish. So maybe we'll kick things off Monday with that, but then everybody's going to be disappointed I'm not talking about Deadpool. That's kind of the problem with that. Like, everybody's going to be upset that I don't have Deadpool and Wolverine reaction thing coming out. Like, isn't that what this channel's supposed to be about? You're supposed to be talking about the thing everybody else is talking about. Hell.